Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho quadruples, grisly true crime, whose excellent YouTube creator put this out in one of our first clips. There were things that were on social media. If you read the one above, it says, "This is so hard to watch. Ethan texted my son at 2 a.m. and he's almost positive they were the Sigma Chi at that time. Based on what the text said, that wouldn't have got them at the house until 2:10, 2:15. My son called the FBI, called the tip line and reported that days ago. But they are saying they think Ethan and Zana were at the house at 1:45. So that's clear to see E and Zana did not make it to 1122 Kings Road till 2:10, 2:15. There's so many things that have been basically picked and choose what made most sense that would make it less suspicious why the surviving roommates took 8 hours to call the police. So this is one of Ethan's friend, his mother, who said that Ethan and Zana wouldn't have been home until 2:10, 2:15. And that makes a lot of sense because that's the time I pointed out to y'all that at the grub truck they were yelling out Zana's name and Ethan's name. Then we have Ethan's mother saying 2 a.m. is the hardest time for the family. You have the coroner saying that the deaths took place somewhere after 2 a.m. If you put all these things together, you start wondering why this mother, his text wasn't taken serious with the police and the FBI. It makes a big difference with the timeline. They made it seem like all the victims are home by 1:45, which wasn't the truth. Even Kaylee's sister had to correct them and say no. The girls were home at 1:56 a.m. in the morning. So timelines was changed. In the beginning, they said that this happened between 3 to 4. It makes sense. I always say it's 2 separate targets, 2 separate incidents. I believe the couple were deleted, unfortunately, before Mary and Kaylee even got home. These are separate targets and separate motives, separate suspects, but they all definitely had something related with each other. This is just my humble opinion. So I want to know why this mother, who says that her son got a text from E at 2 a.m. and he's almost positive, her son is almost positive that they were still at the Sigma Chi at that time, based on what the text said. That means the text Ethan sent her son, his best friend. That wouldn't put them at the house at least till 2:10 to 2:15. My son called the tip line and reported these days ago. But they're still saying that Ethan and Zana were at home at 1:45. Frustrating. This is a grown mother saying that her son received a text from Ethan saying that he was at home. No, that he was still at the Sigma Chi at 2:10 to 2:15. The timeline of Zana and Ethan has always been puzzling. I don't think they would have even given us the correct timeline, in my opinion, if it wasn't for Kaylee's sister Aliveria been doing the homework herself, finding out who and where Kaylee was lost at the corner club, the grub truck. She corrected the timeline to the police and said, no, the girls reached home at 1:56. The police wanted to put everyone home at 1:45. I wonder why. And then they said they all were sleeping. Wonder why. And then later on it was changed from the timeline from 3 to 4. It was changed to 4:05 to 4:25. Anyone could have been on TikTok. It doesn't necessarily mean it was Zana on TikTok. I don't buy that. Anyone could have played. It just played contactless Zana's order. So anyone could have made the order for Zana after she was unalived. We all have a Google Play where we pay, and the Apple Store where people pay from our devices. Something was not right that night. And whatever happened at the Sigma Chi, that's why I believe the 4chan. Everything the 4chan said, some things was a bit too unprofessional to even speak about like the things they were saying about the 4 innocent victims or the 4 victims, may they rest in peace. But the rest, the timeline, how they said they're going to do it, what they said they were going to do, all those things, if you line them up together, it makes 110% sense. And I really believe the 4 victims were under surveillance by whoever, the good guys, bad guys, whoever. They were under surveillance by someone or the other. I don't believe the surviving roommates are telling the whole truth, whether they're being threatened to say a certain thing or whether they could be involved. Allegedly, in my opinion. Someone is not telling the truth here. If you go according to the facts, so many people were already at the crime scene before the 911 call was made. We have Kaylee's friend saying she called Kaylee before 10 a.m. and she's crying. She's saying nobody picked up. Obviously is what she said. It was 10 a.m. Like after the crime, she meant. Then we have somebody calling Zana's sister, Jasmine Canoodle, and Jasmine had to call her father and tell him to come back. There's a lot happening before 911 was even called. So were the surviving roommates, DM and BF, actually in the house that night? Were they sleeping? Were they awake? Why are they trying to say that everyone came home at 1:45 when that is not the truth? Why was the timelines changed? Why wasn't the coroner allowed to go in immediately? Because they're already pronounced unalived. She has a bloody scene. So was there a message left behind? Was this a crime of passion? Someone is hiding something. Someone knows more there than they're saying. And now when we see all these things that we've been hearing about, John Rogers, Showalter, is starting to make sense. People were ruled out too quickly, and everyone was allowed to go home for Thanksgiving, which wasn't right, which wasn't fair at all. Because imagine a quadruples happen. How could you let people actually go home? I understand that people need support and help and guidance and family love, and to forget that there's a SK roaming around in Idaho, Moscow. But the fact that thorough interviews wasn't taken, some people, important people like John Jack Showalter, his interview was taken over the phone. This doesn't make sense. There were dozens of people roaming around inside this house. Anyone could have left a knife sheet. I'm not saying that BK is innocent. I'm saying that I don't see enough evidence to say that I believe that he's guilty. Right now, of course, the police have more, the prosecutors have more, but I don't understand why they didn't ask for the FBI's assistance immediately. Why did it take Idaho, Moscow 5 days before the FBI was requested to come in? Even Kaylee's father, Steve, has mentioned that people have been ruled out too quickly. The case wasn't handled well, to be honest, from the very beginning. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. So the knife sheet could have appeared from anywhere. It is just a touch DNA. So anyone could have placed it there. This was a party venue. Many people used to go in there. It could have come from anywhere. Please let me know in the comments what you think. But I really believe that John Jack Showalter, or John Roger Showalter, was the stalker that was stalking Kaylee, allegedly. I really believe that. He didn't live far away from them. He left. He drove 5.5 hours to his parents' cabin. I don't think he ever went to Africa. I think it was just a rumor, because we have him, on Sunday, last Sunday, being arrested for disturbing the peace and disturbing the neighborhood. I wonder if all this behavior started when the poor 18-year-old boy was found in the creek. Hudson Linder was found. Maybe Showalter could have had something to do with him, because he was from the same fraternity. I really believe that this is more than we think, if you ever find out the truth. I don't believe that BK, I hate to say this, is totally innocent, because his alibi doesn't make sense. I know that he likes to hunt and camp and go camping and all, but it wouldn't take so long, at least almost 2 years, to come out with a lousy alibi that you like to drive. It was closed that night, so you couldn't have been driving at YY Park. Something's not right with BK's story either. He wouldn't have just settled down to be in prison, in jail. Doesn't make sense. But I believe that this is someone, whoever did these crimes is more than one person, and I believe they knew the house, they knew the inside, the outside, everything of the house. I really believe that they had cameras inside the house, maybe even actually in the Good Vibe pictures. They had some cameras that they were surveillance. These people had. It seemed like, do you remember the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey? It seems like the grub truck, Zan and Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan's life was on the Truman Show. Especially when you watch the grub truck video. It looks like everyone is paying attention to Maddie and Kaylee. But Maddie and Kaylee, I don't know how much they understand that everyone is actually paying attention to them. Maddie was, I hate to say this, may she rest in peace, was very intoxicated that night. And I really believe number 9 put something in her mouth. Many people agree and some disagree, and that's all right. But I really believe nobody goes around putting a chewing gum or paper in such a hidden manner. He went to the side and brought something and put it in Maddie's mouth. And pay attention, we never hear that Maddie had defensive wounds or that Maddie fought for her life. Isn't that strange? I really believe number 9 gave Maddie something to ease her or to make her actually fall asleep. But I wonder how Maddie's long black coat ended near the fire extension behind it at Taylor's Avenue. There's so many things that when you add small things, I've always said that something happened after the girls came home. We have Kaylee's sister saying that the girls did everything right. They left the corner club. They went to the grub truck. They used the Uber safe system and all, she says. And then she says the private share. Then she says they came home. They let their dog out to potty. That's the part I always find really strange. I just played it in my last clip, if you follow, when Olivia says that in the mainstream news. If their girls let their dog out to potty, I'm sure Olivia saw it from the neighbor's camera before there was a gag order put on it. So did someone force their way in? Did someone maybe come at knife point to the girls and made them back up and go inside, and then they locked the door? Or did this happen much later? Like, did the girls just let the dog Murphy out to potty by himself? Was he trained to go out by himself? The 4 figures running, I believe, are really tied to this house and whatever happened that night, unfortunately. I really do not believe that some stranger would just come and attack 4 people in such a short space of timing. Doesn't make sense. Unless you're a sniper. Brian Christopher Koberg was a teacher assistant. Something doesn't make sense. But then he could have been hired for something or the other. These people had 8 hours to clean up, to hide whatever they want to hide, allegedly plant whatever they want to plant, allegedly. Anything is possible. But coming back to the main thing, coming back to the beginning of what I was talking about, the mother who says that she called law enforcement on the tip line and she's told them that her son is friends with Ethan and they both were at the Sigma Chi that night, and Ethan texts her son and said that he's still at the Sigma Chi. And she said that would make it that Ethan and Zana could not have been home at 1:45 a.m. that night. They must have been home after 2. She said 2 to 2:15. 2:10 to 2:15. So they weren't at home at 1:45. Where was the police saying they all were home at 1:45? We need to fix the timeline. Something's not right. So are they going according to what DM and BF said? their statements, or did they, when they finally went and got Brian Christopher Kohlberger with the white Hyundai Elantra that was 2015, Brian's one, and they were searching for 2011 to 2013, when things did not make sense and they made a finding make sense however way. Then I believe they made this other timeline between 5 past 4 to 4:30, because they could see that we are not dumb. All the action and everything was happening before 3 a.m. It was happening while the Banfield tape was going on. That's why I believe they changed it. That's the only thing that would make sense. And I believe these were the frat boys who did it. It was the Sigma Chi, allegedly. These are just my opinions. It's John Jack Rogers, allegedly. Jack D, allegedly. Adam, allegedly. The Davids, allegedly. The surviving roommates, allegedly. I believe it's more inside job than outsiders being involved. This is just my opinion. Something happened at the Sigma Chi that got eaten and Xander deleted, with the rest in peace. And something happened. People were already, I believe, it could have been John Showalter, who's a hunter, who's a professional wrestler, were already waiting for Kaylee and Maddie, may they rest in peace. And I believe Kaylee did have a stalker. Yes, I believe the vape shop manager who spoke to Maddie and Kaylee and the other girls who came along to the vape shop. They always came in a group. They all were protecting Kaylee because she had a stalker. They debunked it because it did not suit their timeline, allegedly. If you all understand what I'm trying to say. Something happened to Xana and Ethan at the Sigma Chi. I believe the 4chan that David Lodge wanted Xana for himself. They were even calling Ethan a DUMB space ASS for failing and that he needed a tutor. They were insulting all the students and they were more deeper and all, like you'll know. But they said how they're going to do it within 90 minutes. We saw the 4 figures running. Pay attention to everything happening. At the grub truck at 2 a.m., you'll hear them, the crowd yelling Xana's name. Then pay attention to what is happening at the Banfield from 2:52. Don't forget 2:52 was the last phone calls Maddie and Kaylee made to Jack D. He could have called himself, we don't know. What has reported evidence does BFF? She would have heard everything. She would know everything that's going on. And going back to this post, the mother's really saying this is hard to watch. Ethan texted my son at 2 a.m. and he's almost positive that they were at the Sigma Chi at the same time, based on what the text said. That wouldn't have put them at the house until 2:10 to 2:15. My son called the tip line and reported this days ago, but the law enforcement are still saying Ethan and Xana were at the house at 1:45. The mother said it's frustrating. I really understand that it's frustrating. So why aren't they taking the statements of the parents and the people who got the last text from Ethan? I hope Ann Taylor asks for all the data of all the students, all the 4 students, the 2 surviving roommates' phones, and the Jacks and the Davids. and the people at the Sigma Chi party that night. All of Kaylee's friends, Mary's friends, Xana's friends, and Ethan's friends. While they just focused on, what's it called, Brian Christopher Koberger's data. While they focused on everyone who was roaming around that night. It's kind of strange. And they actually let the people go for Thanksgiving. Isn't that so unprofessional? They let the people, the suspects, go right in front of their eyes. This doesn't make sense. I really find it baffling to understand how they even took 5 days to call the FBI for help. The evidence was all over the place. The dustbin was taken. Most of the dustbins, they only checked 2 or 3 dustbins. Think about it. They let people go back home on Thanksgiving. They let John Jack Showalter or John Roger Showalter go to Boise, Idaho. Jack D said he was sleeping. He was playing PlayStation before that. It's just so ridiculous. He was at the corner club an hour before. We saw that Showalter was really upset at Maddie and Kaylee. You could see Maddie really upset at him saying, F you, mister. There was so much going on that night that it doesn't make sense. People were ruled out very quickly. I agree with Steve Gongalves. I hope. And they're busy discussing about the unaliving penalty, if you'll get me. Why would y'all be bothered to unalive a person? First of all, prove it to us that he did it. Let the court start. They're just jumping too far or too quickly. They should be busy with investigating the whole matter properly. Just because they found most likely planted touch DNA, whether it was underneath the button snap or underneath Maddie's duvet or near her leg. So many people tampered already with the crime scene, so why should we believe you? Is the question. Doesn't make sense. What were the surviving roommates doing? Impossible. The DM opened the door 3 times, and Brian Christopher Koberger or the suspects didn't hear her or didn't bother. That doesn't make sense at all. At the start, the surviving roommates wasn't ruled out immediately. They were ruled out later. Something doesn't make sense in this case. Why did they take 5 days to call the FBI? Why are they saying that all the students came home at 1:45 a.m.? That isn't right. Olivia, Kaylee's sister, proved it, that they came home. They left the grub truck at 1:56. They reached home at 1:56. And Maddie and Kaylee reached home at 1:46. No, sorry, 1:56. And the couple, according to Ethan, his best friend, who received a text, his mother said that the text was at between 2:10 to 2:15. So they wouldn't have been at home till 2:15 a.m. Why didn't they please get the time right? Is that the reason they changed the timeline? The timelines from 3 to 4 a.m.? That made most sense. And they know that timeline is right because that's when we see the 4 figures running. That's when we're watching all the actions happening so quickly. So quickly. We see the Banfield body cam. Then we see Saeed watching all those pictures that look like they were from a crime scene, that are kept on exposing from the very beginning. Saeed's pictures tell us a lot. Those 3 boys are Banfield. I don't think they just came for Matt's party. I really believe they came from 1122 Kingswood. So did, I think they had some beef with Maddie and Kaylee. Sorry, Xana and Ethan, allegedly. And I believe Kaylee and Maddie had more beef with John Shawalter, and he got really upset. And he's upset, impulsive, aggressive, everything unhinged. Something could have really happened and gone terribly wrong. No matter what, Shawalter's always involved because he told the girls they're going to get you, Maddie. You know they're going to get you, Maddie. So he was already passing threats. We could see Maddie saying, F you, mister. We could see Kaylee trying to take pictures of him, trying to take selfies that the phone is much higher than her head so that she can take the person who is behind her the picture. I think Kaylee is trying to tell us a lot that night. And I hope we get to the bottom of this. I just hope they get the correct justice for these girls. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Good night.